What's up, everybody? This is the Gridiron Gilly Show. I'm the host, Gridiron Gilly. Today I have Coach Josh Smalley with the Bridge City Cardinals. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing today?
Better than I deserve, man. Thank you for doing this, man.
Absolutely.
I feel like this will be a good one. Whenever I emailed you, your only request was to have my Stone Cold Steve Austin poster in the background, and here it is right here for you.
One of my all-time favorites. In fact, I've modeled my hairstyle after him. But love the fact that he's from Texas, and love the fact he was a heck raiser and just a tough ass guy. And so those are the kind of people we like to be around.
There was another coach I interviewed a while back. Corrigan Camden, their head coach. He commented on it. He was like, "I love that poster back there, man."
It's pretty awesome.
Well, for starters, I know a little bit about you, but for the ones that don't, introduce yourself. Talk about where you grew up. I think you grew up in Bridge City, but talk about your coaching history and all that stuff, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been going a while. I've been in it for a while now. But my name is Josh Smalley. I am a 1994 graduate of Bridge City High School. Got an education from a Bachelor in History from Memorial University in 1999. Started in education a little bit earlier than that. I started GAing when I was still in college here at Bridge City, coaching junior high sports. So when I got out, I actually had three and a half years of actual experience. So got hired here, stayed here for a couple of years, went to LCM for a year from 2001, 2002. Left there after that year, went to Vider, worked for Jeff Matthews for a year, came back to Bridge City, worked for a guy named Claude Tarver in the early 2000s. We had a little bit of success here, made it 3 rounds deep a year. We actually lost to the Hutto Hippos one year in the playoffs during that run. Went to Orangefield 06, 07 to be the offensive coordinator for a guy named Blake Morrison. He's the head coach of Dieball right now. Then came back to Bridge City in 08. One of my best friends got the principal job. Came back and worked for a guy named Chris Stump for 4 years, was the offensive coordinator for those 4 years. And then in 2012, I had the opportunity to go about 5 miles east of us to a little small 3A school named Orangefield, Texas. And I was the head football coach, athletic director there for 12 years. Left in 2000, I guess it was 20, whatever that'd be, 24, 23, somewhere around there when Bridge City job opened up. Had a chance to come back and kind of be at a place that kind of grew me and started me and got me in this profession, and had a chance to come back and maybe give back a little bit to that place. And they screwed up, gave me the job, and been here 2.5 years now. And so this is year 30 in public education for me. I'll be 50 on March the 9th, so I'm not a spring chicken anymore, but I still enjoy what I do, and looking forward to year 31 next year.
What this is just, I don't have this written down, but I read something about it earlier. What offense do you run at Bridge City?
We're the spread at Bridge City. First year I was here, we were more 4 or 5 wide, just because of personnel packages, and we had a quarterback that you had to account for running the football, like he could run. So we were more spread than normal. This past year, we based out of that, but we got in more of an H-back or a Y set, 2-back gun type set, because the quarterback wasn't as mobile, but he could throw it. And so we needed a little help protection. Plus, it just kind of fit our style a little bit with what we do. The 12 years I was at Orangefield, I take a little heat for, we were in the slot T. And that's kind of what I was for 12 years. I got part of being the slot T mafia for 12 years. They've kicked me out since we came to Bridge City, but I've really coached in every offense you could possibly coach in. I played in a multiple set when I was at Bridge City. I've coached in the wing T, slot T, the I, the spread. I don't know if you can name an offense that I haven't coached in. But when I got to Bridge City, I just looked at the people we had and the personnel we had, and we tried to model it to fit those kids.
Well, that's why I asked that question, because I saw that you ran the slot T at one point, so that's why I asked that.
Yeah, and at Orangefield, it was I felt like it was the offense that was going to fit our personnel 9 times out of 10 years or 8 out of 10 years. And so that's what we went with. And I believe we won some games because we ran it, and we probably lost some games because we ran it. It goes both ways. The slot T's great unless you're behind by 3 or 4 touchdowns, and then all of a sudden it's not so great. But, we beat Newton 2 years I was at Orangefield. We beat Jasper a year I was at Orangefield. We beat Silsby a year I was at Orangefield. And I just don't believe we win some of those games if we line up wide out spread with those guys and go with them. I felt like what the slot T does, it's the best defense you have is keeping other teams' offense off the field. And it grinds the clock, keeps the game close in the fourth quarter. And if you're able to score points and keep it close, you got a chance. And we were able to do that against some of those teams. So it fit us. Now, what the guys doing in Orangefield now, with the spread, he's doing a phenomenal job with. They've got a good group of skill guys coming through right now. But my time there, it fit us well. And I say, coming to Bridge City, looking at the personnel we had to adapt to that. High school, you're basically regulated to what mom and dad give you as far as athleticism goes or athletes. And so you can't go out and recruit and do all those things. So you got to fit what you got. And that's kind of what we did when we got here.
So Bridge City, 4A Division I, Region 3, District 10, that's what you've been the last couple of years?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you still are now, or has it swapped?
I think we're still District 10. We are 4A D1, Region 3. I don't know if the number changed after the realignment to 9 or 10, but
you're in the same district pretty much. I just
we're in
saw
the same
Hardin
district.
Jefferson.
Yeah, we lost
dropped
Hardin
to
Jefferson. Hardin
Division
Jefferson
II.
dropped to D2, but the other 7 teams are still the same as what we've had the last 2 years.
Okay. And from what I see here, what I have written down, you won your district this past year.
We did.
Lumberton, Hargrave, Little Cypress, Mauriceville, Hardin Jefferson, Vidor, Liberty, Livingston.
That's correct.
Like I said, football's over with, but it's never over with for me. I'm football 24/7, 365. So let's talk about that for a minute, because I don't know anything about these teams. I know where all these towns are. I've been to all these towns several times. But talk about the season, the schedule, and all that stuff, because you've been there for a couple of years now.
Yeah, when I first got hired, the current superintendent had already made the pre-district schedule out when I got hired, and basically the schedule was set. So, we started out with 3A teams in our non-district, and really that first year that I was here, we were coming into a program that had like 4 head coaches in 6 years, 3 head coaches in 5 years, something like that, 3 different offensive coordinators in 3 years. This was going to be the 4th offensive coordinator. And talking to the soup, he felt like they'd won like 9 games in 5 years, something like that. And he felt like we needed some success and some confidence. So he scheduled some teams early. Not they were cakewalks or walkovers, but he just felt like we would be competitive with and be able to have a good football game. And we were fortunate enough to win, have success that first year, won the first 3, then went into Lumberton, the first district game, and won that one. And I really feel like that's when the mood of the kids and the attitude of the kids changed, is when we went on the road our first year here and won the first district ball game. They kind of figured out, hey, we can win here. And, went on and won 6, 7 in a row, whatever, lost to Little Cypress that year, lost to Huffman, ended up 8-2, made the playoffs for the first time in 5 years, something like that. Had to go on the road week 1 and play Longview, Pine Tree, and Jason and that group up there, and played them 35-28. You got beat round 1, got sent home, and off season started that next week. And then, we set a goal in off season to try to be one of those teams that's always competing for district titles, competing for district championships. And we really went through a tough off season with them. It's the first one we actually got to really have with them as a staff, and had a good summer. And then got into this year, and we were fortunate enough to start out 3-0 again. We got to the LCM 6-0, whatever it was, got the LCM. They came out on top, beat us at our place by like 8, I think. But then we were able to finish out winning the rest of the games. We won at Huffman the last game of the season to wrap up the district title. So we finished 9-1. We got to host Tyler Chapel Hill in round 1 at our place, which was fantastic. A great atmosphere. Our hometown was packed, and Chapel Hill brought a good crowd. I can't speak enough about Coach Reardon and the program those guys have up there. And we played really well that night, came out with a win. Got to play Navasota round 2. Again, well-coached team, athletic. We played well, came out with a win. And then in week 3, we found out what a state championship caliber team looks like, and that was Kilgore. And Coach Fuller and the Kilgore, Bulldogs. They when I walked off the field, my exact thought was, that's what a state championship team looks like. That's what they act like, what they practice like, it's what they prepare like. They're really good. One of the best defenses that I've coached against in a long time, and I've coached against a lot of West Orange Star defenses when they were really, really good too. And so I thought a lot of Kilgore, and then, they go on a state title game, and Stephenville, obviously has a great defense too. So, that was kind of our year. We won the first district championship in 10 years here at Bridge City. We got to play 3 rounds of football. And now that's kind of carried over in the off season, and our mind in the off season has kind of changed. I told our kids we've now gone from the hunters. We've always been the hunters. We've never been on top. We've always been the guys chasing. We've always been the guys hunting those that have been on top. And now we're actually the hunted. We're the ones that everybody's trying to come knock off the block. And I think your attitude, your work ethic, your mentality has to change when you're now the ones that are people coming after. So we've challenged the kids to step it up a notch from last year, and so far they've responded real well.
I like that. Yeah, I did have written down the just from what I found on Max Preps, the last 10 seasons of Bridge City football. You've been there for 2 years, and you went 8-3 and 11-2. That's not 19-5 record. The previous 10 seasons, I believe, the last winning season was in 2016.
Yes, sir.
17-18 all the way to 23, they were 15-52. So in the 2 years that you've been there as the head man, you've had more wins and turned that program around.
Yeah, and I think being a head coach, you get a lot of the credit. You get too much of the credit, you get too much of the blame a lot. One thing I'll give our success to has been I've got support from our superintendent and our school board, and they allowed us to go out and hire people with experience, great coaches with a lot of experience. So we've got 2 good coordinators that came in and helped, and some other assistant coaches that came in and helped. And then our kids bought in automatically. Like, you could tell they wanted to win when we got here. It was just consistency. It's nothing against the coaching staffs that have been here before. There was just a lot of turnover, and it's hard to establish something great or good if the only thing that's consistent is change. And so we try to establish some consistency and keep it here, keep it moving, and just get the kids going. And I wish I could take all the credit, but I really can't. I mean, it's the superintendent, it's school board, it's administration, it's teachers, it's everybody in the program from top to bottom supporting what we do. And then you go out and hire good people, and then you let them do their job.
What you were talking about, Kilgore, you said this is what a state championship team looks like. I'm used to walking football. I'm used to going to their games. I've been doing that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I pay attention to a lot of schools, but I never go to their games. I'm usually at walking games. But about 2 years ago, I was like, I'm going to start branching out and going to, other games as well. And so I've watched several teams play in person, and I've never watched Newton play at all. And other than playoff games or something like that. Well, I went to 2 Newton games last year, and week 2 and week 3. And I remember after watching those games, I was like, this team is going to be in the state championship.
Yeah.
And
we scrimmaged them the last couple of years. And when I was in Orangefield, we've played them. And I've been in Southeast Texas my whole life, so I'm really familiar with Newton and what they do. And to me, it's one of the most impressive things you'll ever see is you're talking about a school with about 250 kids in the whole high school. And they'll go play anybody. I mean, they played West Orange Stark, they played Silsbee, they played Jasper. They'll play just about anybody that'll play them, and they have a hard time finding games because of how good they are. We scrimmage them here because we just feel like seeing those athletes and that speed is going to end up helping us sometime during the season. Seeing those formations and how they do things is going to help our kids learn how to adjust on the fly. So I have no problem scrimmaging them. We get a lot out of it. But that's the most impressive thing to me is, I mean, they got as many kids as their whole school as we about do in our senior class. And they play people, 3-4 times their size, and they go compete with them. And they don't just play them. Most of the times they're winning games against those type of schools. So Coach Johnson and them up there at Newton it's a phenomenal program.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. I got a lot of respect for that program and what they've done and what they're going to continue doing. Because it's just like year after year, they're in the mix and they're scrapping with anybody and everybody, whoever wants to step in the ring.
Yeah, he was telling me I think they got Franklin on the schedule this year. They got West Orange on the schedule this year.
They have a bye, I think, week 3 because they couldn't find a game.
They got 2 byes because they couldn't find a game. I want to say, I can't remember who he said. It was Chapel Hill, I think, reached out to him in a pre-district game. And, it'd be a heck of a game to go watch. I mean, but Chapel Hill's 4 times the size of Newton, so it's kind of one of those deals. But he just, when I was at Orangefield, Cornell Thompson, the old coach at West Orange, told me one time, he said, we have a hard time finding games. And I said, I don't feel sorry for you. That means you're good. If you want to have an easy time finding games, quit winning. I'll trade with you in a heartbeat. I'll go to state every year and not find games if you want to do that. But he just started giggling. I said, everybody in the world's lined up to play me, but I don't feel bad. I mean, if you're having a hard time finding pre-district games, it usually means you're pretty dang good. Nobody wants to play you.
Exactly. And like you said, they'll line up with anybody, and they're about a pound for pound one of the most physical teams in the state of Texas.
Yeah, it's not fun to go through, because this next season we got Nederland. We're going to scrimmage Nederland. They're a 5A school around here. We're going to scrimmage Newton again, and then we also have West Orange and Silsbee on our non-district schedule. So we've kind of upped our competition level the next couple of years, just because we feel like from us playing Chapel Hill and us playing Longview and us playing Kilgore, Longview Pine Tree, excuse me. If we're going to play those teams in the playoffs, we need to be ready for it and get ourselves prepared for it in non-district. So we've kind of upped the bar non-district wise. So hopefully we can come out healthy. But when you're playing a team like Newton and those West Orange Stars and those guys, it feels like it's a bloodbath for 48 minutes out there.
Absolutely. The next thing let's talk about is Bridge City athletics as a whole. Since you're the athletic director and the head football coach, you oversee the whole athletic program. So I don't know what all sports y'all have. I don't know if y'all are a little bit bigger. I don't know if y'all have like the extra stuff.
We got cross country. We got fall tennis. We got football, volleyball. And in the spring or the winter months, you'll hit boys and girls basketball, powerlifting, boys and girls powerlifting. Then you start to get into the spring, and we got baseball, softball, track, boys and girls tennis, boys and girls golf, soccer. We got boys and girls soccer. So, and we have junior high soccer in May. So we get a little bit of everything. It's a little bit more sports than I had when I was in Orangefield, being a 3A school. But the years have been good. The last couple of years, one of the things the state of Texas does in the UIL, they have the Lone Star Cup, which our district takes a lot of pride in, and you accumulate all these points you score through athletics or academics or band or whatever. And at the end of the year, they tally all the points and 5, 6A all the way through down. And last year, us as a school district, we finished 25th in the state in 4A in the Lone Star Cup. And this year, hopefully we'll do better. But, last year volleyball made it 3 rounds deep. Football made it a round deep last year. Boys and girls basketball last year made it to the state semifinals. Baseball made it to the state semifinals. I think the only program we had that did not make the postseason last year was girls soccer, excuse me. This year we look like, again, volleyball made it 3 rounds deep. Football made it 3 rounds deep. Boys basketball, 1 district. Girls basketball, 1 district. Softballs, boys soccer's on pace to hopefully make the playoffs. Baseball and softball are cranking up. So, and the girls are still in the playoffs. Girls are 3 rounds deep. They play tomorrow night. So athletically, things are going pretty well right now. But again, that's a combination of a lot of good coaches and a lot of support from above and a lot of good athletes. You can be the best coach in the world, but if you don't have any athletes, you're not going to win very many games. So it's all about kids.
Yes, sir. Next thing is we already touched on your district and the alignment and stuff like that, so we won't talk about that. But what does the off season look like for the football program at Bridge City?
Off season's been going well. We've tried to move all of our freshman football players into the bigger group with the older guys. Our seniors, they've kind of moved on to either other sports or whatever. So basically, what we have in there right now is the straight football guys, juniors through freshmen, and we spend a lot of time in the weight room, basically 5 days a week in the weight room from whenever we get beat until middle of February. And in middle of February, we're in the process right now of doing what we call our champions camp. It's kind of a boot camp deal. We try to call it champions camp to build that championship culture of doing things right all the time. And we started that, here. We're going to do that for about another 3 weeks. In the spring break, we come back from spring break. We'll get back in the weight room a couple of days, 2-3 days a week, and we'll start going outside and doing some football type activities all the way through graduation. So our champions camp is something we started last year. My defensive coordinator brought it from Nederland. He was at Nederland for 15 years. They call it Camp Fun over there. People have just different names for it. And we just talk to the kids about, it's more of a mental thing than it is a tough thing, a physical thing. It's just, can you survive in chaos? Can you do what you've been coached to do? Can you think in chaos when people are just running around going crazy in the mud and bear crawling, tire flipping, and all these kind of things? Because basically that's what a football game is. It's, can you perform for 5 seconds when chaos is going all around you? And when you're tired and when that little voice in your head says you need to quit, can you push past that? And so that's what the camp does for us. And, we talk to them about it. It's not just about building a championship football culture. It's about building a championship culture, period, about being a championship person in life, about being a championship person in the classroom. We take pride in the fact that boys basketball won the first district championship since I want to say 1963 or 19, somewhere around there. It was the first district title, 66, the first time they won it. Baseball, they've won. So we're trying to build a championship culture, period. And so the boot camp thing has been something our kids enjoy. They've taken a lot of pride in it. They get after it. The coaches love it. But we spend a lot of time in the weight room. That's one thing that, genetics is genetics. Some people are just tall, some people are just fast. But one thing we feel like we can control is the weight room. And we feel like a lot of mental toughness is built inside that place. And so we push the weight room pretty hard.
Okay. So I've heard of this area of Texas before called the Golden Triangle. Is Bridge City a part of that?
Bridge City is in the Golden Triangle, yeah. So you go from it changes for everybody, but how far west, east, west, north, south it goes. But yeah, we're part of it.
What exactly is the Golden Triangle?
My interpretation is about we're right on the Louisiana border. So Orange is on the Louisiana border. We're a little south of Orange. So my interpretation is from Orange all the way west to I say Beaumont, Winnie area, east, that kind of stuff, and then south. Now some people will include almost like kind of I-10ish, Orange, Silsbee, that area, Jasper, kind of south. East of Louisiana, west to a little outside of Beaumont is how I feel the Golden Triangle is. I don't include Barbers Hill, that area, right there, Mount Bellevue. I think that's outside the Golden Triangle. And I think the farther north you go, north of Jasper, Newton, you're probably getting out of the Golden Triangle area as well. So that's my interpretation of it. Some people will try to include Woodville and all the Livingstons and things like that, but I don't know. If they're good, they're going to include them in the Golden Triangle because that way they can say, hey, everybody in the Golden Triangle's good.
Yeah.
Kind of depends on year by year, but that's how I feel from being here, what I feel like it's been consistently.
And that's what the Golden Triangle is just like, because I've heard of it. I've heard it's like like good football teams, but is that what it is? Like just like a lot of good athletes come from that area?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, obviously, the last couple of years of me dealing with the Kilgore district, you get a little respect for East Texas football as well. And, when me and Coach Surratt and I have a great relationship. I've been up visited him a couple of times and tried to learn, off season from him and talk offense. And so then when I've known him, and then you get up there and you play Kilgore, you play Chapel Hill, you play Longview, Pine Tree, and then you look at Lindale and those guys, and Henderson and Palestines and the regular, the Longview. And that's what's been impressive to me about East Texas is, down here you're going to get your perennial teams that are pretty good. Your West Oranges, your Newtons, your Silsbee, your P&Gs now, your Port Arthur Memorial producing, Division I athletes every year. And you're going to get your perennial teams that are always in the mix, Jasper. And then you're going to get teams, that are every now and then you're going to have a really good year, a really good run. What was impressive to me about East Texas is every team that we saw on film had great looking kids. Like, it was everywhere. Like every team had good looking kids. And so, but yeah, Golden Triangle, good football, good. We got good baseball programs down here, basketball. Kuntz last year is in the Golden Triangle. They won boys and girls state basketball. Beaumont United has been in basketball. Beaumont Westbrook, I think, was there last year at the state tournament for basketball. So it's a good little mix of all sports. And so we take pride in that. And it's kind of like East Texas, with East Texas, they take pride in that. We take pride here being from the Golden Triangle as well.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I like that. Uh, this is where I was getting at the golden triangle, the athletes, all this and that. I'm not going to ask you the best player you coach because you've been doing it a long time. You probably coached a lot of great players and with character, this, that, and the other. Won't put you on the spot and make you name anybody, but the best player that you played against, if you can remember that far back, and then
Oh man, that's hurtful. God dang.
well, you're the one that said you was old.
I am. Look. This beard didn't have as much gray in a long time ago, but I am old. But I feel young. But the best player I played against,
or coached against, or both.
I can give you a couple. The best player I played against was a guy from West Orange Star named Kendall Cleveland. He played running back. He ended up going to LSU. Played running back at LSU. So you're probably talking 93 football season, 94 graduation rate. I actually played against the current head coach at West Orange Star, Hiawatha Hickman, too. He's from Silsbee. We graduated the same year together. So, but Kendall Cleveland, by far, like he ran a 10-100 meters. He was long jumping like 22 feet in the 8th grade. Like he was a dude. He's by far the best. The best that I've coached against, Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas is from West Orange Star. The guy, he played for the Seattle Seahawks in the NFL for a long time. I coached against him as an assistant at Britt City. The best player I ever coached against as a head coach. We made the playoffs I want to say my second year at Orangefield. The third year at Orangefield, we actually made it to the second round. And we're playing a game in Katy, Texas against LaGrange. And, man, they look like LSU walking on the field, just the same colors, they just look good. So they had a running back, and we couldn't tackle him. And I'm yelling at my kids, wrap him up. Yeah, God dang, get him to the ground, wrap him up. And so they end up beating the snot out of us. Well, the next year, I look on TV, and he's playing for Ohio State. And Ohio State and Michigan couldn't tackle him, and Purdue couldn't tackle him, and Northwestern couldn't tackle him. And I'm like, well, maybe there's something to this guy. Mm-hmm. And then I look, he's playing for the Baltimore Ravens. And Pittsburgh couldn't tackle him, and nobody in the NFL could tackle him. And this guy's name was J.K. Dobbins. And so I had to call all my players that year from Orangefield and apologize to them for yelling at him for not being able to tackle J.K. Dobbins because nobody in the NFL could tackle him either. But as far as who I've coached against, Earl was obviously a pretty special player at West Orange, and then J.K. Dobbins at LaGrange was truly special as well.
Okay. There's two guys, Sam and Emmanuel Acho. Are they from down there?
Yeah, okay. I think they're from the Houston area, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I say my aunt. I think she used to teach down there. I think she told me she taught them, and I think they both went to Texas a long time ago.
Yep.
What would somebody be surprised to know about you, Coach?
Man, I don't know. I've been type 1 diabetic since 1992. I got diagnosed with diabetes when I was a junior in high school. So I've lived with that for the past 30-some years of my life. I got 3 grandkids. I know at 50 that's kind of surprising, but I got 3 grandkids, 6, 3, and 2. I'm trying to think. I used to have a full head of hair. That's kind of surprising if you look at me now. Mm-hmm. Married, been married 17 years. I don't know if there's any surprises.
Well, the last coach, he literally said he don't like collared shirts.
Oh, I don't like dressing up. I will say that. I don't like wearing a tie. I don't like being in a suit. If you want to see me very uncomfortable, put me in a situation where I have to dress like that. My wife gets mad at me all the time because everywhere we go, she says I dress like a coach. And I'm like, well, that's the only kind of clothes I got in the closet. But yeah, no, that you want to get me squirrely is put me in a suit where I got to wear a tie, and I don't like speaking. I don't like public speaking. I can talk in front of kids all day long. Put me in front of a group of adults at like our little Rotary meetings and things like that. I'm not good at that. So I took speech in college. I think I made a C plus maybe, and that was like, see you later, get the heck out of here. Like, it was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm not big on public speaking. I'm not good at talking to people either. But I have a hard time making friends because of that. But I can talk football with anybody.
I was a school marshal. Is that surprising? Like when my year I worked at Orangefield, or those years, we don't have Orangefield doesn't have a school police unit, so they rely on sheriff's department, everybody to get there. So there was always, So they trained about 10 of us to be certified Texas school marshal. So for about 3 years, I concealed carry on campus in case, the worst scenario possible happened. We
Mm-hmm.
had people actually there. So and I don't know if that's surprising or stupid, whichever one it is.
No, it's a lot now. The laws have changed so much that now, like, everybody has to have one
Yeah.
on campus.
See, we got it. Bridge City has our own police department with the district, so we don't have that issue anymore over here.
Couple more questions. You are you do have a lot of experience, like you said. You GA'd for a while, and then you've been a head coach for since about 2012, 2013. You said.
Yeah.
So, any advice for younger coaches or coaches who maybe have been in the game for a while but haven't? Maybe they're not happy, or maybe they're in a rut, or something like that. Any advice that you're willing to give?
I say, understand why we do what we do. We had this conversation with our coaches the other day. We recently had a coach. He was retired, but he still was around the program. He recently passed away. And so we were talking a lot as a staff and as kids and stuff. And, high school athletics, you still should be worried about sportsmanship and character and integrity. That's what we're still called to do. We're still called to grow young people into good citizens, good husbands, good wives, good fathers, good mothers. That's what we're really called to do. Winning's great, but I've never seen a hearse pulling a U-Haul. So all these trophies that we earn and get that we think are so important aren't going with us. What will go with us and what will stay is the legacy we have and the image and the image we leave on young people. So winning's great, but it ain't the reason. So just take a lot of value in encouraging kids. Let that fuel you. Be a good person. Understand the impact. I think Billy Graham said it. A coach will impact more people in their lives than anybody else in the world. And I tell people, and I truly mean this, it's the greatest profession this side of the pearly gates. The opportunity we have day in and day out to influence the future of our country and the future of our world cannot be underestimated. I'm around 1,000 high school kids a day, and that's not including junior high. So, the difference and the impact I can make on them, even if they're in athletics or not. We walk hallways. I do lunch duty. I do morning duty, just for the fact that I can now interact with kids that aren't in athletics, that don't know me from Adam, but they know this bald guy's walking around the gym, asking them how they're doing, throwing away their trash for them. I think seeing the big picture helps. Is winning important in what we're judged on at the end of the day? Absolutely. But the day I take my last breath and I get to those gates, if they ask me how many games I've won, I'm in trouble. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. And so I try to remember the value of what we're doing and what we're doing it for. And that takes a little bit of that off. Now, as a coach, getting better as a coach, the other thing I will say is never be afraid to find somebody that's doing it the right way and go ask questions. I've never been afraid to email a coach or text a coach or call a coach and say, hey, can I come sit down and visit with you sometime? And that's what's great about our profession. They've always said yes. Nobody's ever said, no, I ain't got time for you, or no, I don't want to tell you anything. Like I said, I've been to Carthage 3 times and talked to Coach Surratt personally about, how you do off season. How do you schedule your offensive practices? How do you do this? And every time I've called or text, he's been available for me to go talk to. I've been to Brock. The year they won a state championship, we drove 6 hours to Brock and visited with them. I've sent people up to Pleasant Grove and visited with Coach Gibson up there. I'm not afraid or too prideful to go learn something. And if I can go learn, even if it's one thing to bring back, we've been to Liberty Hill 2 or 3 times while I was in Orangefield. If I can just bring one thing back that helps our program get better, it's worth it. So don't ever feel like even at my age, when I've been in it for so long, I can still learn something to make myself better and make our program better. So I would say, number one, remember the number one reason why we do what we do. And if you're trying to get better as a coach, be a head coach one day. Be willing to serve. Understand we're in the service business. We're here to serve our community, our district, and more importantly, we're here to serve our kids. Always put others above yourself. And if you can do those things, you're going to end up being okay.
It's a very jam up answer. I like that. Last question, and then I have just another question, but it's nothing, not a big deal. Bridge City. Someone wants to come watch some football, some basketball, some baseball, softball, soccer, anything. where should they eat at?
Well, it depends on what you want. We've got some Mexican restaurants that are kind of Tex-Mex, and then we've got some authentic Mexican restaurants that when you walk in, it's sopapillas and all that good stuff. I like barbecue. We have kind of a drive-through barbecue place called Fat Boys Barbecue. That would be where I would probably tell you to go. We got some, but we got another business called LBS Barbecue. They don't really have a sit-down place, so they're more order. But Fat Boys Barbecue, I went there the other day, and they had brisket fajitas, and I don't know, I didn't care what they cost. I would have gave blood or whatever to get it. It was so good. So that's what I'd recommend. But if anybody sees this and owns a business in Bridge City, please don't hit me.
Fat Boys Barbecue. All right, and
Really
this is
good.
my last question. I don't think I've asked any coach this yet, and I don't know why, but I'm a collector. I like to collect football stuff. So,
Sure.
do y'all have a team store at Bridge
We
City?
do.
I need to give me some Bridge City merch. Is what I'm getting at.
Look, you send me your email address, and I will send you. I'll send you whatever you need. I'll get you a hat. I'll get you a shirt. Um, I'll get you decals. Like I'll hook you up. You just email me you send me your email, your address, and then I'll take care of you for sure.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Well, you got it, man. Not a problem.
So I was going to buy some stuff, but
No,
all
I don't
work
want you
too.
spending money. I don't want you spending money. Like we're going to take care of you guys. You're taking time out of your day to highlight our program and our kids, and the least I can do is send you something.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Well, thank
Absolutely.
you for your time, man. This has been an awesome interview. I look forward to following you and seeing what you do the rest of the way at Bridge City.
Yes, sir.
And good luck to y'all. God bless.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
All right. Take care, man.
Uh-huh.